Hello and welcome to the Knit, Sip, Happy podcast. Hello, my name is Nancy. I'm coming to you today from the east coast of Canada, just outside of Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada. Cheers. It is Monday, May 29th, and I'm here to catch you up today on all of my knitting and knitting shenanigans that have been going on for the last almost 3 weeks since I was here talking to you last. So at the beginning of the video, you will have seen a little bit of footage. Yesterday was a glorious 30 degrees. So we went out for a picnic lunch. We took our classic 1960 Thunderbird. So you will have seen a little bit of footage from our drive and our view from our picnic. Today, in typical maritime Canadian, what's the word I'm looking for? Goodness, this is off to a bad start. Suffice to say, today is 11 degrees, but it is very breezy and sunny. So I'll put a little video here. I have got 3 ranunculi. Is that the plural of ranunculus? I have washed and they are out blocking to be put away for the summer season. I'm already digressing. So I told you I'm Nancy. You can find all of the show notes down below in the drop down box. You can find me as Knit, Sip, Happy everywhere on Instagram, Ravelry, and Facebook. I will have that information here. And again, everything is down below. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them for me down below as well. So today, I guess we've got a couple things we have to address first. What I'm drinking. It's going to tie in with what I'm wearing. So today I'm drinking a lovely red because, as I said, it is cooler again today. We had to close all the windows and batten down the hatches. We had some high winds. There were some terrible fires down just outside of Halifax in Nova Scotia. So I hope everything is settled down and fine there. I'm assuming fueled by these high winds we've been having. This is a lovely red today from South Africa. It's a Cape blend that we made in 2019, I do believe. So it's a blend of Shiraz, Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinotage, yummy, and Grenache. So that is what is in my glass today. I'll be sipping along with you as we're chatting, and we're going to go along to what I'm wearing. I showed this to you last time as a whip, and my goal was to get it finished for Knit City Montreal because it was going to be a booth sample, and indeed it was. I was hoping to wear it, but it was too warm. So it was too warm in the venue. It was quite busy. Anyway, I'm digressing. So I'm going to stand up and show you. This is Sersha that is completed by Truly Myrtle, Libby Johnson. And I'm wondering if I have set my camera up correctly to show you. Oh yes, that's getting us there. Okay, so Saoirse. The big story of this is this beautiful cable lace detail that is running down the arm, either arm. I've done my arms just to the elbow. We'll talk about that in a minute. Got a beautiful scoop neck. The A-line increases were already built into this pattern, so I did not need to make any adjustments. This is in the beautiful colorway from Yarn Indulgences. This is her silky base, which is a merino cashmere silk. And this is the colorway Nancy's Wine that she custom dyed for me as a Christmas gift. So I am very happy with this. This is the fit that I like. I've got, you know, there is a bit of negative or positive ease, and the armpit is a little bit lower, you know, maybe, but it's very comfortable to wear. As I said, I've got that nice A-line shaping that I just love to make room for my pear shape. I'm going to sit down and kind of talk you through any modifications and changes that I made. So let me just get back into position here. Oh. Okay, am I there? That looks about right, I think. Okay. So I have a few notes down here. I knit the size 6. I did it on 3.25 millimeters. The recommended needle size is 3.5. I didn't get gauge with the 3.25, but I liked the fabric, so I stayed with it and just did some sweater math and adjusted to size 6 to accommodate for that. I did what I said I was going to do last time. I reduced the raglan increases on the back of this sweater and then kept them at the same rate for the front of the sweater. So I will get back to you on this. This is the first time I'm actually wearing it for any length of time. As I said, I took it to Montreal with the full intention of wearing it, but I didn't. So I have full notes on everything that I did on my Ravelry project page, which will be linked below. I haven't taken pictures yet, so after I finish doing this recording, my husband should be home and I'll be able to snag him to grab some FO pictures to post to Ravelry. I had increased the sleeve size to the size 10 to make room for the luscious lady upper arms. And I did the body length pretty much the same length as recommended in the pattern. That is all I have on my notes. So that's what I'm wearing in the first FO. Now I'm going to hop back into a little more of the introduction stuff that I should have done. The giveaway winner I had redrawn and re-announced, and Sheila did get back to me quite quickly, and I was thrilled to hear from her. She was having an excellent day, and hearing her name and winning the prize was another addition to her excellent day. She received that package. We've been emailing back and forth. Thank you for getting back to me, Sheila, and letting me know it got to you safely. So that is done. I will be having another giveaway later in the episode. Actually, there's 2 prizes. I picked you up some goodies from Knit City Montreal. So that will be coming up a little bit later. A lot of new subscribers and viewers lately, and I think I have to say a big thank you to Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful and This Little Wonderful Life. She had a big 100th episode celebration last week or the week before. I can't remember. Time is a strange thing these days. And she had asked for other podcasters or YouTubers to reach out if they would like a shout out on her episode. And I did, because somebody had very kindly gifted her the Tits Up sock pattern. And we had been chatting a little bit. Anyway, so I sent that in, and she did a lovely introduction and link and shout out to me on her 100th episode. And I got quite a big bump in views and subscribers. So if you're new around here and found me through Allie, thank you so much. And I hope you like what you see and you stick around. All right. So I only have one other FO and I've moved it. Hang on a second and I'll grab it. It's not very exciting. Hold on. I can see it. So last time I'd had a whole bunch of FOs and had cast on a bunch of new things. I think I only had Saoirse, and I don't know if I had started this. This is another Tits Up sock. I had mentioned that the sample pair I had knit to my daughter's size, so I'll be gifting the full pair of Tits Up socks to her. So I just need to knit one more with the leftovers so I have a sample to use in the future if I ever need it. So I knit this pretty much. This is what I knit on the drive, the 10-hour drive to Montreal about a week and a half ago. Deborah from Yarn Indulgences drove, and I knit and navigated and was a pretty good co-pilot on the way, not so good on the way back. But this is my only other FO, and you've seen that there's lots of before. This is my Tits Up pattern, my homage to the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Oh, I just watched the last episode last night. The last ever episode. The series has ended, and it could have gone for another season for me, I think. It felt to me like they wrapped it up pretty rapidly. However, that's just my opinion. I will probably rewatch the whole series all over again because I love it so much. I was talking to my daughter Samantha about it last night, and we kind of felt the same, that it felt too fast and we were going to watch them all over again. So that is it for FOs, Saoirse and one lonely Tits Up sock. I do have some kind of FOs. I haven't shown you this project for a while. Months ago, I had talked about knitting up these little nano socks. It's a free pattern on Ravelry called Nano Socks, and I wanted to do one, make like a garland almost in all of the leftover yarns from my sock designs. So I had already done Freddie Beach and Garden Fence. They're back there somewhere. So I just got the itch to do this, so I made a few of them. So this is the leftovers from my first pattern, By the Shore. This is Sock Marl from Deborah from Yarn Indulgences. My second pattern was Bouctouche Boardwalk, and that was using Leo and Roxy. I can't remember the name of the yarn. I will link it below and possibly have it on the screen if I'm thinking about it. Nance put it on the screen. This is Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. I ran out, so I had to just grab a little bit of orange from my stash just to do the I-cord bind off. This is Tits Up, just because we were just talking about it. This is Let's Stay Home. This is the Creative Knitter. This was the free sock pattern I put out at Christmas. This was some of the leftover yarn from that project. And last but not least, this is from my Ravishing socks, and it is the Ravishing color from Kim and Colin at Gingersnap. So these were just a fun little, didn't know what to knit kind of a couple of days. They knit up super quickly. I was knitting them 2 at a time, and then I just found that was getting really annoying, so I switched them to 1 at a time. So I have in the bag, I think I'm only missing 4 right now. So this is Yarn Indulgences Old Rose from my Hexie Diamond socks, the ones that are in the Lina magazine, the Lina 52 Weeks of Socks, Volume 2. I have Yarn Indulgences again in Parade of Cones. This was one of my Knit City Montreal designs. And I also have some Blooming Lovely, which is from Gingersnap from the Blooming Lovely socks, also from Knit City Montreal. So there's going to be a lot of Knit City Montreal name dropping. The only yarn I haven't laid my hands on, I think the only one I'm missing is my Wintry Woods, which was a walk in the woods from Sweet Skein of mine. And I have 45 odd grams of it left somewhere, and I have seen it, but in the massive cleanup and tidy of my mother-in-law coming to stay, it has gone somewhere. I will find it. So that, I think I only have 4 of these left to do, and I'm going to create some kind of garland with little clothes pegs that as I do every design, I can just knit a little sock and clip it to it, and I think it'll be a really fun memory of this journey that I'm currently on. So they're kind of FOs, but kind of part of a bigger whip. So we'll just be cheeky and chuck them in there. So Parade of Cones was our custom colorway that Yarn Indulgences and I came up with, and the pattern for Knit City Montreal, which was to, that's right back here. I showed this to you as an FO last time. No, sorry. We'll do this in design chat. No, we're not. Oh dear, sorry. I only had 3 sips of wine, I promise. This is Parade of Cones. This is this fun color. It was inspired by this picture with traffic cones, which are an iconic symbol of spring, summer, and fall in Montreal. And we were being a little bit cheeky and hoping that nobody would take offense to that in Montreal, and everybody loved it. We sold out of that color. I managed to snag one, and I'll tell you why a little later. But yeah, it was great. All right, I've already gone completely off the rails. Where are we? I'm going to show you a fun new cast on before I go into some of the older ones. And again, it was inspired by somebody we met at Montreal. We met up with two ladies came into the Yarn Indulgences booth on Saturday, Sue and Tara. Remembered your names. I'm not going to remember everybody's names, and I do apologize for that. It was very busy, and I thought I was going to write down names as I was talking to people. It was too frantic for that. I just wasn't able to do it. I have, if you've been following on Instagram, you'll have seen this. So I have cast on a shift cowl in the sock marl. Oh, that's one of my hairs, excuse me. Sock marl base from Deborah Yarn Indulgences. This is going to be a booth sample for her because we thought it was a brilliant idea. And then a contrast color in the Luxe Silky. So I have knit the shift cowl before, and I think I showed it to you. Was I podcasting then? Oh, maybe I wasn't. I knit it in 3 colors of my hand spun. Sue came to the booth with her friend Tara. They were from just outside of Calgary. And Sue was looking to make some shift cowls as gifts, but at a less expensive price point than the spin cycle that is recommended in the pattern. So I had first used my hand spun. If I think about it, I'll put a picture up here. Sue saw the marl base that was hanging. This was a super popular base for us, for Deborah. I say us because I worked that day, and I love working and talking in Deborah's booth, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Anyway, it was very popular, this marled base that is then dyed on top. So the black and the white barber pole kind of runs through it, and then the dye is applied on top. So you get this color changing vibe. And I cast on a shift cowl. Now it is designed for 3 colors, excuse me. I'm just using 2. So I'm just alternating the background and the foreground on every section. So, and I think it's super fun. So I have just completed section 3, I do believe. Kind of looks like section 3. I've been having some weird hand pain that I get when I do brioche. Something about the moving of the yarn back and forth. And I don't know if it's being caused by this. This is really the only thing that I have right now that has that motion. It's using mosaic slip stitches. This pattern is by Andrea Mowry. If I didn't say that, I will have probably put it on the screen by now. Because I'm doing this in fingering and it's supposed to be sport, I went down in needle size. I went down to a 3.5 millimeter needle instead of a 3.75 millimeter. But it's making a nice squishy fabric. I think it's going to be great. But because of the hand pain I've been having, I'm limiting myself to just doing a few rows a day on this. Just to mitigate if this is what's causing the problem. I haven't had the issue in a couple of days. I haven't picked it up in a couple of days. I'm not sure if that's just a coincidence or if it is this that's causing the problem. And I have housed this in, I showed you this, my beautiful new bag from Michelle's Creations that I picked up at the Fiddlehead Fiber Festival. So this will probably, you'll probably see this a few more times as I'm working on it, because like I said, I'm going to take my time with it because I don't want to knit myself into an injury. Then I picked up, I needed a simple vanilla project. This is in my Paradise Island bag that I bought at KW Yarn Festival in 2018, I do believe. So, oh, I was looking for that. Chapstick. This went with me to Montreal just in case I needed some mindless vanilla knitting, and I did. This is my Mind the Gap sock that I started the day I had my colonoscopy because I needed brainless vanilla knitting. So I finished and put on a contrast toe. I have not put the heel in yet because well, I was traveling and it didn't feel like the right thing to do. And my husband just came home and I have my door open. You may hear some noise. I may get him to close my door. Hello, honey. So I was working on this while we were driving back from Montreal because I needed something easy and mindless. We had some issues getting out of Montreal. Some were Google related and some were me related. My co-piloting skills were not so great on Monday. I don't know if I was just having a yarn hangover, but I was working on this on the way. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just count the stripes and work all the way down to the toe, and then I'll figure out where the heel is going. I'm hoping to be able to use that turquoise yarn that I used on the toe for the heel as well, but I'll have to see where the turquoise stripe ends up. These are not matching. I didn't want to waste the yarn, so all I did when I cast on, I just get to the transition between two colors and I use a long German twisted cast on, and that way I just get that little pop of color at the top and then I can go on through. So, but like I said, I'm not sure if that turquoise color is going to work for the heel, but I haven't measured yet either, so we shall see. They may have turquoise toes and then a different color heel. But these are just a nice, easy, on-the-go vanilla. I took this out yesterday when we went out in the T-Bird. You'll have seen some footage probably of me knitting with on the waterfront as we were watching the boats come in and out of the marina. Again, my husband and I were chatting, having a picnic, drinking some wine. It was lovely, and I just did a few rounds, couple stripes on this while we were out. So, hang on one second. Can you close the door? He's cooking his lunch. And I'm already distracted enough today. All right. Because the microwave is about to go beep, beep. Shift Gal London Underground Nano Socks. I showed you the next thing I'm going to show you is, I'm looking at myself now because I'm all distracted. So it must mean I'm due for a sip, right? He wasn't supposed to be home. He's obviously had a change in plans, and he was supposed to be out with doing some repair work on the car or something today. Anyway, here nor there. My salty air tea is being housed in my beautiful Eldenwood sheep bag. I showed you this last time as a teeny tiny cast on, and I'd made an error in judgment by not reading ahead in the pattern. I cast on, as I usually do, I cast on for a size smaller than I need around the top shoulders area, and then I increase out from there. With this pattern, the increases, without giving anything away, are built into the lace panels. Of course they are. Hang on. I've got stitches falling off a needle and no stitch stoppers. I keep buying these fun little stitch stoppers, and then, well, to be fair, I have a set on here, but not on here. Okay. Let me just hold this up. So this is my Salty Air Tea. I am knitting this in Sadness Garn, Tin Lena, and the color is 5052. I got this from my local yarn shop, La Violette Yarn Gift & Co. I have split for the sleeves and worked down the body a little bit until my ball of yarn finished. Then I put the body stitches on hold and I picked up a sleeve. So let's talk you through this. So like I said last time, I had done the cuff, the neckband, and the short rows in the back to lift the neck up, and realized I had a bit of a problem as far as the stitch count. So after I finished podcasting with you, I actually went ahead and read through the pattern. I'm terrible for that. I just kind of take it as it comes. I find if I read ahead, I get overwhelmed. So taking it in little chunks at a time works better for my brain. But when you're making modifications, that is not the way to do it. But I did fix it, and I'll tell you how. So this has this beautiful lace yoke pattern. And as you can see, the I don't know if you can see, the lace gets wider. That lace panel gets wider as it goes down. I don't know if you can see that or not. So basically all I did was, in order to get to the stitch count I needed to be at for the split for sleeves, I just added an extra increase in each lace repeat, which ended up giving me 3 stitches more than I needed, but it was close enough that I could work with those numbers. So that's what I've gone with. I am knitting this on a 3.5 millimeter needle. If you follow me on Instagram, I was happily knitting away one day last week when I got, I think it was the day after I got home from Montreal. I had a quiet me day just to try and recover from all the peopling and the drive and the talking. I was very lucky I had the day off. I didn't have to go right back to work. Anyway, I was sitting quite happily knitting this out on the deck, and my Zing needle, I'll put a picture in, the cable came right out of the fitting that screws into the interchangeable needle tip. And I lost a whole bunch of stitches. And I think it was on the last increase round of the body that I was not fudging. I'd done the math, but the modification that I was making. So it wasn't ideal. Thankfully, the yarn is not too slick. And it pretty much stayed put. I think I had to rip back a part of the round. So I grabbed another needle and, picked everything up and then consolidated onto one needle. But that was a little fraught there for a second. I might have had to have another glass of wine to recover myself. So the pattern itself is quite cropped. And I am undecided on the body length, which is why I've gone ahead and picked up a sleeve, which I picked up a bigger size sleeve than is written for the pattern. Did I put any notes? I cast on the size 4. I increased to the size 5, and I increased my sleeve diameter to be closer to the size 7. I think it's actually between the size 7 and 8 by the time I picked up the stitches. Just to make room for my upper arm. I also moved the stitches around. I moved the sleeves back by moving, making the front portion of the sweater bigger. You can't see it, and you wouldn't even be able to see it when I'm wearing it. But basically, I forget the actual math that I did. I have it written in my Ravelry notes. I moved, I think, 14 stitches in total from the back to the front to give the front a little more room for my chest, which is a common thing that I do, because I find, especially with yokes, even with a short row addition to the back, I find yoked sweaters that I don't do that to tend to move up, and through the day they're getting higher and higher up my neck and I feel like I'm being choked. It's because there's not enough room across the front and they're shifting as I'm moving around. So by moving those sleeves back, putting more sleeves on the front, less sleeves on, by putting more stitches on the front and less stitches on the back, it gives my chest more space and keeps the sweater in place while I'm moving it and doing my normal movements. You know, you move your arms, you've got to pick things up and bend down, and there's less adjusting of the garment when I've done this for me. So the exact math will be on my Ravelry page. It doesn't give away any numbers from the pattern, but it does tell you how many I did. So as I said, this pattern is supposed to be a very cropped. I'm unsure. I have enough yarn to do it the length that I like it, which is somewhere around 14 to 15 inches under the arm. But I have a black dress that I picked up at Old Navy online, and it's got very strappy straps. So for me, with a bra, I don't like the look. I don't like being able to see bra straps. It's my age. I know the young people are all doing it, but it's not my thing. So I was thinking that this little cropped kind of smoky purple with that black dress might be a really fun outfit for the summer. And then I could also wear it with tank tops underneath if I did want to wear it with jeans or a skirt. So I'm going to do the sleeves to the length that I want them. And then I will put the body on try-on cords. And then give it a try on with that dress and jeans and just kind of see how I feel about the fit and the length. I may steam it. So we're in this part of this garment process now where it's a lot of fitting to yourself. You know, my sleeve length, I adjust, you know, the sleeve length and the pattern's a little short for me. So I'll lengthen that a little bit. So now it's a lot of trying on to get it to where I want it to be. So I will keep working on this and I will share this with you. I have got these cute little donut stitch stoppers. So when I was knitting in Montreal, I have had a set of pink ones that I'd gotten from Kim and Colin at Ginger Snap. I had both of them sitting on the bed while I was knitting in bed in Montreal, and Deborah looked at me and says, "Those lifesavers?" And I told her, no, they're little donut stitch stoppers. And she was like, "Oh my goodness, they're so cute." So the next day I went over to Kim and Colin's booth and they only had one set of the chocolate donuts. They didn't have any other donuts in stock. So I picked Deborah up a pack of the chocolate donut stitch stoppers as a little gift and said, "Wouldn't it be fun if we each had one of each?" So we do. So now we each have a pink frosted donut and a chocolate frosted donut to use as a mix and match set. So I think that's all I need to tell you about my Salty Air Tee. It is going along. I love the feel of it. This is going to be super light and cool to wear. Yeah. I'm hoping to have this done. What day? Oh dear. I've got an event. I'm going to a Women in Business networking event for my local business here in Moncton. And that's on Tuesday, June 6th. I was thinking I might wear this with that black dress if I think it's going to work with the dress. So I better pull my finger out and get working on this if that's going to happen. But I got distracted by something new. And I'm going to show you that now. So we're going to slide into design chat briefly. I don't have too much to talk to you about. But I picked up some yarn, of course I did, in Knit City Montreal from Botanical Yarns. The lovely, I'll let this blow out a little bit, there we go. Botanical Yarns, the lovely Sophie came all the way from York in the United Kingdom to vend at Knit City Montreal, which I thought was fantastic. And we had a couple little chats here and there, and I went over to do some shopping at her booth, and I grabbed, I'll put a picture up because I've already wound it up. I'll put a picture up of the sock set so you can see it. It is this beautiful 75-25 superwash merino nylon. It's 120 grams. I'm just going to let it blow out a little bit. There we go. This is Sakura Cordia set. And I just loved the neutral, but the fun little pops in this yarn with the pink, the peachy mini. And I was looking for something to do a new design with. This is one of the designs I'd done a submission for to a couple different publications, and it wasn't accepted, so fantastic. Now I have a pattern ready to go, and I knit up this sock super quickly. I'm gonna give you a sneak peek of what the yarn looks like. I'm gonna be cheeky and not show you the front design yet, because I just finished this sock last night. I haven't even sent it out to testers. I got an email going. I'm hoping to write the pattern up tomorrow, but it's going to be a shorty. You can't tell that because I folded over the cuff to hide the pattern, but I've just used little 2-row stripes of that contrast color and with the main color. So it's my traditional heel flap and gusset. It's worked top down again this time. I haven't done a toe up in a while. I may have to do a toe up. So tomorrow I'm going to be writing up this pattern, doing a little video tutorial and sending it off to my testers. My hope is to have this released in mid to second or third week of June. So next time I come and see you, actually, this will probably be coming out, if not already, but soon. So I'm housing that in my fantastic, I love this bag. This is from Studio Britta. She's a Canadian maker in Alberta, and she does machine embroidery, and she customized this sock bag for me, and I got to pick my colors for the patchwork on the back. I love this bag. It's the perfect sock size. And I will have her linked below. If I don't, send me a bump and I will do that. So that is in the works. The only other thing design chat wise was thank you to Deborah from Yarn Indulgences for collaborating on the Parade of Cones socks. As I said, we sold out of this yarn at Knit City Montreal. This pattern was free. You got a free coupon code if you purchased any of the sock marl at Knit City Montreal, and it was very popular. I had to print off some extra Ravelry codes, so that was great. And then, of course, Blooming Lovely from Kim and Colin from Ginger Snap. It was lovely to see them and say hi to them at their booth. I was over there. I took some video and did a little bit of shopping, and they very kindly gave me a gift as well. So that is all coming up in the next part of the podcast. I do have one other thing before we head into the, two other things before we head into the Knit City Montreal. Last time I was here, I was telling you about, I was wearing my Tankar tee by Anna UT Knits. Anina, the pattern will be out beginning of June. I think we've probably got another week or so before the pattern comes out. It'll be linked. I'll have my Ravelry project page linked. There is no pattern that you can see yet, and I will also let you know on Instagram when the pattern is out. But I want to knit another one. And I was talking about this last time, but I was downstairs in the guest room and didn't have the yarn with me. This Small Bird Workshop Mill End lace weight linen cotton bamboo blend. If you were around last summer, and I think I did talk about this, I tried swatching with this last year, held double, and I didn't really enjoy the process, so I bailed on it, and I didn't, but I'm going to try again. It's 50% linen, 30% cotton, 20% bamboo, but it's still quite crunchy and quite stiff. So I was talking at Knit Night on last Tuesday, and Manon from La Violette suggested, wash it. So I did. I put it in some soak and some warm water, and a lot of blue dye came off of it. So it feels like it's slightly different color. You probably can't see it's slightly different, but I'm going to be holding two yarns together anyway. Yeah, I washed it, put it in a towel to dry. I rinsed it really well till I wasn't seeing any more blue dye coming out of it. put it in a white towel and just squeezed the water out, and then just checked it to make sure there was no dye, and there wasn't. The water was clear at that point. So I hung it outside till it was still damp, and then I thwacked it a few times over my deck railing just to see if I couldn't soften it anymore. So basically I just took the end of the skein and just banged it and banged it and banged it and banged it several times just to see if I couldn't soften it. And I have to say, it has made no noticeable difference. This feels just as soft as this. So I didn't get any difference. So I am going to be holding 2 at a time of this lace weight yarn to try and get something approaching a DK. I am going to do a swatch. I'm going to do a good size swatch, and I'm going to wash it, and I'm going to put it in the dryer and see how it softens up and blooms. Linen can take that kind of use, and I think the cotton and bamboo will also hold up for that, because I have to say, after having this air dry, there's no noticeable difference to the feel of the yarn. So before I invest time into a garment holding 2 lace weight linens, which isn't going to be a terribly fun knit, double, but if it works, I really want the finished object. So it may be more of a product knit for me, this one, but if I can get going on it and find the right needle combination to go with the yarn, I think I'm going to be okay. But I got to get a good size swatch, get it in the dryer for a good half hour, and just see how the yarn reacts to that before I commit to time. Because I don't really want to knit a lace weight. I don't know if you can see. I don't really want to knit a lace weight garment. We'll see. So that is dream knitting. It is still dream knitting. That will be the next thing. When Salty Air is done, I should probably get this swatch done soon so I know where I'm going. And then by the time Salty Air comes off the needles, I'll be ready to go for the next one, because I cannot start. If I think I want to wear that Salty Air tee to that event on June 6th, I can't start anything else. Okay, check my notes, check my notes. The other thing I've been doing was I finished off a spin. I believe I have some pictures of the fluff and the singles. This is from Fiber Imp. It is her merino bamboo nylon sock blend. I was almost finished this spin before I went to Montreal. Spoiler alert, I bought more fiber, so I really wanted to I wouldn't let myself start any of the new fiber until I finished this one. So I finished plying this up last night. It was shades of hot pink, black, and blue with lots of white space in between. So this has come up to fingering to sport. I'm not sure how much it's going to puff up when I wash it. I haven't washed it yet, so I will skein it up and wash it. But that is all done. So I spun this on my Nano 1, by Dreaming Robots, and I applied it on my EEW6. So that is other crafting that I've been doing since I've been home from Montreal. And one of my hairs again. All right, so that is it for the pure knitting content. What I have coming up is Knit City Montreal review, acquisitions, and I have a giveaway with 2 prizes. And I've been trying to think of a question to ask you guys so I can get some good keywords to search. And I haven't come up with anything yet. So I'll just keep talking and see if I come up with something. Let's do the giveaway first. I am just going to move some things so I can get the basket of goodies from Montreal up. Just have a little reset here. But I put everything in my big Blue Mama basket that I got last year. So the giveaways. So as you know, if you've been around or heard me talk earlier, I launched 2 patterns at Knit City Montreal. One was Parade of Cones in the sock marl. Readjust myself here. looked at the screen, not the camera. That must mean it's time, right? So I lodged Parade of Cones in collaboration with Yarn Indulgences and Blooming Lovely in collaboration with Ginger Snap. So what I have here are two little kits. So we've got Parade of Cones. I've got this little gray Big Blue Mama little project bag that you can put it over your wrist and knit on the go, or it's just a cute little sock bag. So in that, I have one skein of the Parade of Cones sock marl. So this was the Knit City Montreal color from 2023, and this is an 80/20 sock base. But as I've showed you in my shift cowl, you certainly don't have to use it in socks if you're not a sock knitter. So in this bag, I also grabbed for you a little Knit City logoed pin. And also, if you were at Knit City Montreal and came and said hello to me, I gave you one of my snazzy new cards with a cute little progress keeper that was made for me by my friend Leanne. Really pretty little heart. So this is prize package number 1 for Parade of Cones. And this is sock prize number 2 for Blooming Lovely. It's the same little cute bag, including a skein. This is the last skein of Blooming Lovely that was on Kim and Colin's booth. So that was excellent timing for me to have that thought. I was like, oh, I know what the prizes should be. I was trying to pick you guys something up if you weren't there. So I grabbed the last skein of Blooming Lovely. I got this cute little Knit City pin. And again, one of my snazzy new cards and the Progress Keeper. So I have 2 prizes for you guys. So in order to make it easy, I think we need to go, if you want Parade of Cones, use Parade in your comment. If you want Blooming Lovely, use Blooming in your comment. If you want both, use Blooming and Parade in your comment. You don't have to be funny and creative. You can be. But you can just leave whatever comment that you want and then just say Blooming, Parade. That's all I need. It's just for me to have keywords to punch into the YouTube comment picker when I go to do this. So use Blooming and or Parade. You can certainly go for both, or if one of these isn't your color and the other one is, just use one or the other. But please feel free to enter for both by using Blooming and or Parade. I'll put them up on the screen for you. So just some little rules around this. You have to be a subscriber to the channel. Please like the video as well. And I will be podcasting again in 3 weeks. If I haven't heard from the winner, when I announce it next week, hang on a second, back up. I will announce the winner on my next podcast, which will be in about 3 weeks. And then at that point, the winners will have until the following podcast, which will be another 3 weeks, to get back to me. And if I don't hear back, I will redraw. I just don't want to keep stuff hanging around forever and ever. I want these to go out to enthusiastic viewers who want to get any of these lovely yarns. All right, so that is the giveaway. Knit City Montreal. It was awesome. I was there last year. It felt bigger and busier this year. Last year there was timed entries. We were still wearing masks. This year felt, it just had a different vibe to it for me. I was less overwhelmed this year, maybe because I knew what to expect. So we drove up on Thursday, May 18th. We got up and, had a leisurely start. My husband drove me over to Deborah's house and we left from her place about 10 o'clock. So we got in at about 7 o'clock local time. to the hotel. We had a couple stops for, you know, the usual. And it was a beautiful sunny day, good day for a drive. So we got in Thursday evening. Saw a couple people in and around the lobby, but, you know, it was getting later and we were kind of tired after the drive. So we had a hotel room picnic of the food that we'd brought with us in the cooler. We were chilling. The fridges in the rooms at the Sheraton are teeny tiny. So we couldn't get the wine in there. So if I have a picture, I went to the ice machine with a, you know, bin that Deborah uses on the booth for displaying things. And I filled it half full of ice and plunked our bags of wine in there. It's very classy, but it worked. It got our, we had some rosé and some sangria to sip over the weekend. Friday morning, we got up, went out for some breakfast, and then decided to go to Espace Tricot. Never been there before, and it was just one of those bucket list stores you hear lots about, and I really wanted to go to. So we did, and I was much better this time. I have taken some footage, so I will either be interspersing it while I'm talking, or I will be doing a little vloggy section at the end. I haven't decided yet. I will have to see how the clips all come together when I edit them. But I said to you last time I was really going to try to be good and edit or take footage because I'm terrible. I get overwhelmed and enjoying it so much that I forget to record it for you guys. So yeah, I got to take some footage in Espace Tricot, and within the first few minutes, I had a couple of ladies come over to me and say hello because they recognized me. Catherine, who I have talked to on Instagram quite a lot, was the first one to say hello and was looking. I said on Instagram that if you saw me at City Montreal, I was going to have those little cards with the progress keepers. And I didn't have any on me because I wasn't expecting it being out and about in the wild. But anyway, I saw her at the yarn show and she got her. Anyway, she came over and said hello. She was with her group of friends and they were shopping at Espace Tricot. And then Cindy came over and said hello as well. Don't be too, as I said at the beginning, I didn't keep track of everybody who said hello to me at the show. It was so busy. I just didn't have time to stop and write everybody's names in my phone. So I just have a few people who came up to talk to me early on that I remember their names. So if as I'm going and you did come and say hello to me and I don't mention you by name, I so apologize. But it was so appreciated. As I said before, as this socially introverted, awkward person, it was very surreal and thrilling for people to come up to say that they watched the podcast or knew me from Instagram. And they just wanted to say hello, and everybody was lovely. Yeah, it was amazing. It was what I was doing last year at City Montreal, going up and talking to people. Yeah. So Espace Tricot, I bought, I'm going to try and keep this on track for the calendar, how this all went. I bought some knitting for Olive, pure silk. I had never seen knitting for Olive before. We don't have that available in any of our stores. So it is 200, if this is a 50 gram skein, is it 250 meters? So it's a fine fingering, but it's 250 meters and 50 grams. And the fuchsia color, and I bought 4 of them. I was going for the paler raspberry, and Deborah had seen this fuchsia and said, I think you should go with that one instead. I think it would look really good on you. And I think she's right. I think the raspberry would have been fine too. You see, I'm trying to get away from my normal teals. I'm trying to branch out in my color palette. So I have 4 of these for a summer t-shirt. Not sure which one yet. Yeah, once I get my second tanker tee going, I'll start pondering what this is going to be, because this is the next one coming up, and get another summer tee done. So this was my purchase at Espace Tricot. It was lovely. They had 52 Weeks of Socks, volume 2 on the shelf. And we opened up the book and I showed them my pattern. And yeah, that was kind of fun too. So I'm just going to start throwing things on the floor because I don't think I can put them back in the basket and then get everything else out that I need to. I'm just going to backtrack because this is sitting on top. I was supposed to start with this. When I finished the last episode, I said I was going, my mother-in-law was here and I had found a sweater quantity on Facebook Marketplace for a D-stash. This is Barocco Remix Light. I did go and pick it up. I have 4 skeins of this. The colorway is 6927. And this is a recycled content yarn, 30% nylon, 27% cotton, 24% acrylic, 10% silk, 9% linen. I've heard about this yarn quite a lot, so I thought I would pick it up. So it came with 4 skeins of this blue and 1 skein of the natural, which colorway is 6901. So I will do something color work. I've got 4 skeins of the blue, so this is going to be a long sleeved something for the fall and winter. Even though it's a mixed content and it's a fingering weight, that's a perfect weight for me to wear to work most days. So I thought this would be fun. A Jennifer Steingass colorway perhaps, or an Unwind Knitwear color work sweater perhaps. But this is before Montreal, and before I lose track of it in this, I just want to let you know I did pick it up and it's now in my stash with lots of other things I have no room for. Whew. It's getting a little warm in here now with the door closed. So Friday morning is Basse Tricot. Friday afternoon, we set up the booth. We were allowed into the event space, I believe at 1 o'clock. And we did multiple loads down to Deborah's truck and bring everything up into the conference space. And then we started assembling. If you were on Instagram, you saw me post. So if not, I'll kind of post a little sequence of events here. Took us just over it was about 4.5 hours. And we were pretty much done. We just needed to kind of set up the samples. But I had a dinner date at 6:30 and I had to walk about 20 minutes? Down to the meeting place. So I met up with Selma from Little Big Knits, Miga from Skeins of Dreams, and Mel from What Mel Makes. And we met up for dinner at La Centrale. It's a fancy food court, basically. It had lots of restaurant, fast food kind of vendors, but not fast food, fancy fast food. Great Indian, Italian, Mexican, there was tapas, there was churros, there was all sorts. We got there, it was the long weekend in Canada, it was our Victoria Day weekend. And it was a long weekend and it was busy and it was hot. We were hoping to meet up with Leanne from Nitty Stew, but she was unable to attend. Her flight to Montreal got canceled. So the 4 of us met up and had dinner. Of course, I took no pictures. I took a little bit of video, which I'll either put in here as I'm talking or I'll put in at the end. It was great. We had a glass of wine and lots of chat and ate, and then their Airbnb was just down the street from the hotel, so we got to walk back together. It was a beautiful weekend. It was in the low to mid 20s all weekend, and we had a beautiful walk back. After our dinner, I headed back to the hotel to try and get a good night's sleep before the craziness that was Saturday. But I did want to say thank you to those ladies for including me on their girls' weekend. They were staying at an Airbnb together and sounded like they had a great time. So thank you for including me in your dinner plans. And it was lovely to meet Mika and Mel and catch up with Selma again. And then Saturday morning, rose bright and early. The festival opened at 9. We ran 9 to 5 on Saturday, and Saturday was so busy. It was amazing. There were lots of faces I recognized. There was lots of faces that recognized me and came to say hello. Stephanie Pearl McPhee, the yarn harlot, was kind of loitering over across the way from our booth a little bit, and she was on her own for a couple of minutes. So I hopped over to say hello and introduce myself to her. I was in a class that she had done in Knit East in 2019 in St. Andrews, New Brunswick. But she gave me a shout out on Instagram last summer for my Smoke Gets in Your Eyes socks, and said how much she loved the pattern. And I got so many pattern sales from that and new followers. And as somebody new to this world of designing and podcasting and whatnot, I just wanted to introduce myself to her and say thank you and how much I appreciated that shout out. I know she just did it to because she liked the pattern, but that meant a lot to me. And so we had a little chat for a minute, and I got to express my thanks. Did I ask for a picture? No, I didn't, because I'm awkward that way. For all of you people who did come over and ask me for pictures, yay you, well done, because I'm awful at that. It was such a busy day. I had no time to shop. We were running 2 cash registers. I had a little mobile unit and was ringing in smaller orders, and Deborah was ringing in the bigger orders and doing all the color consults that she does because she's the color magician. I do need to give one shout out to Brenda and her daughter-in-law Megan came from Australia. They were doing an East Coast kind of trip. So they paired in Knit City Montreal. Brenda had reached out to me and asked for advice on New York because they were heading to New York after Montreal. And then they came back out to the East Coast of Canada. I just saw they were in Halifax and PEI. And they're heading back to Australia today. So big shout out. I do have a picture of us together in the booth. And yeah, that's pretty much... And like I said, everybody else, I so appreciated it, and I couldn't keep track of everybody's names, and I do apologize for that. But I wanted to, again, say thank you so much. It was so appreciated, and I hope you love your little progress keeper, and it reminds you of our little chat and your time in Montreal. So Saturday night, we kind of closed up the booth, and there was different events going on, but we knew we don't buy tickets for any of those special extra events because we kind of know we're going to be tired. So we walked up the street and picked up some Subway subs, glamorous Saturday dinner out, took it back to our hotel room and had a big glass of wine with it. We went down to the lobby and found a comfy couch and kind of sat and knitted for a while until we got tired, and then back up to the room for a good night's sleep because Sunday was also a 9 a.m. start. So it was much quieter on Sunday. Still good traffic flow, lots of people coming over and saying hello and making purchases. But it was quiet enough that Deborah and I both got to leave the booth separately and go and talk to people and do some shopping. So this is where the majority of my shopping happened. I think all of my shopping happened on Sunday, because Saturday it was just too crazy. I didn't have the brain space to even think about it. So I just actually brought my little tag. This is on paper that has got seeds in it so I can plant it. And I had just kind of stuck my card on the back. So this was my lanyard, but I'll probably keep it as a souvenir. I've got my other one hanging up on the back of my desk here somewhere. So if you're still with me, let's do some acquisitions. So last year I had been into Sonder Yarn's booth, but it was so busy all the time and I couldn't make a decision with the crowds. So Sunday things were quieter, and I did want to get a sweater quantity of their yarn in the fingering. So I grabbed Sunday morning 4-ply. So it's 75% BFL and 25% Massam. 395 meters, 432 yards, 100 grams. And this is the colorway Rise and Shine. It's this really pretty corally pink. It's kind of got some pink grapefruit vibes to me. And I think that will work for me. So I have 4 skeins of that. Don't ask me what it's going to be. I have no idea. But with 4 skeins of fingering, I can do something lovely. This might be my sculpture. Sophie from Cozy Meadow Knits and I were talking about this. We've got Unwind Knitwear, Rachel Ilesley's sculpture or sculptured, I can't remember, pattern. And it's a beautiful textured yoke. So I might swatch for that. But that's not till September, October, maybe August. We'll see. So 4 skeins, Sonder yarn, check. That was on my list of places, booths I wanted to check out. Another place that I wanted to go and see their wares was Fiber Imp. I have some purchases from them in the past. They were briefly on the east coast of Canada after they moved from Alberta, and they have now settled in London, Ontario. So I bought 2 braids of fiber from them. So this is the colorway Skinny Dipping, and it's a Corriedale nylon blend. And I thought for socks, so the nylon, it's sparkly, but it's not stellina. So it's got these all kinds of beautiful shades of blue and then these coppery gold nylon flecks running through it. So I think this is going to be my next spin. I think, yeah, this was the one I was itching to cast on. I don't know if I've ever spun with Corriedale, and again with that nylon blend for me for socks, or to go into a garment. Oh, colors fantastic. That's, you know, right there. These really rich peacocky blues with that gorgeous goldy rust kind of, yeah. So that's one braid from Fiber Imp. They come in these beautiful coils, but my coils all came undone. So I'm just going to quick coil it back up. So this is 60% Polworth, 20% nylon, 20% bamboo in the colorway Ghostbusters. So all of these braids are 150 grams. So, you know, the price point, it does seem a little eek for fiber, but it's 150 grams. So it's a good amount, and beautiful grays and pinks and greens. I think that's going to be beautiful. Again, probably a 3-ply sock yarn because that's kind of my default where I'm happy. So this one's going to go into stash. The other one's going onto my wheel. Toot sweet. And the other, I did get more fiber as well. Our next door neighbors across the aisle were Fireweed Fiber Company from Manitoba. Yeah, Winnipeg, Manitoba. And this colorway, I don't know if you could see that, is Johnny Jump Up. I love pansies. I love their happy little faces. So I saw this color and I was like, oh, I love purple and yellow and white pansies with their little black faces. So this is 100% Polworth in this one. Beautiful. If I'm smart, I'll probably do it a 2-ply, and it would be great for a contrast color in a yoke, a colorwork yoke for a sweater or something like that. Lovely. And then also from Fireweed Fiber, I picked up a skein of yarn from them as well. This is on their Sweet Pea sock base. So anytime I see Sweet Pea anything, I tend to have to pick it up. My daughter's nickname is Sweet Pea. One of my favorite flowers in the summer is Sweet Pea. The fragrance on them, they're just beautiful. I love them. I love to grow them and cut them, bring them in the house. So I saw their base. It was Sweet Pea sock. So I had to have it. And then I had to decide on the color. So this is the Glamorous Color 29. So I'm guessing it's a one of a kind, but these beautiful shots of purples and mauves and a little bit of blue. So it's an 80% merino, 20% nylon sock yarn. So I'll see if I can incorporate this into a design. Nothing's jumping out at me right now, but it will go into my stash until I am ready to be inspired by it. I picked up, when I was at the Big Blue Mama booth picking you guys up some bags, she also had these great bags. So this is Big Blue Mama. She was clearing these bags out. She's just going into staying with baskets. But I decided to get myself a bigger one of these over-the-arm bags in just a nice navy. It does have a print fabric on the inside, but yeah. So I grabbed myself one of those. I kept saying I was so pleased with myself because I hadn't bought any bags. I did. I bought this one. And then I was gifted one. So Ginger Snap, I had to go over to see them. I had to buy that last skein of Blooming Lovely. And then and they had launched their new Wildflower collection earlier. I'm just going to let this blow out for a second and bring the color back. Are you going to get my color? Come on. There we go. So this is called Speckled Sage. Lush ply fingering, 75-25 merino nylon. It's a little greener. Yeah, that's better. It's a really nice sagey green with these speckles of the darker greens and golds. I have a pattern in mind for this one, so this will be going on to a design soon. So that had to come home with me. I also did some shopping for friends, but their yarns I'm not going to show them because I don't want them to see them before I meet up with them on Sunday. I'll talk about that more at the end if I remember. It's on my notes. When I went to see Sophie at Botanical Yarns to pick up that sock set, she also very kindly gave me, so Botanical Yarns, all the way from England, gave me this lovely little sparkly sock set. She just gifted it to me. One of the colors was missing. It was an exclusive colorway for Yorkshire Yarn Fest, and one of the little minis had fallen out, I guess, in transit. And she's like, I'd love to give this to you. And I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. I can see contrast heels, toes, and cuffs in these. And it's a Stellina blend. I'm not sure if you can see the sparkle or not. But yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Sophie. I really appreciate it. I went to see... I should have taken these out of the bag. Katrine Peltier. And there we are. So I picked up, I love her gift cards. So I picked up a collection of her gift cards. Greetings cards. They're yarny themed. So, oh, and then I have to gift these. Sophie from Botanical Yarns also gifted a couple of Yorkshire tea pouches. If you know me, I don't drink coffee or tea, so this will be going either out in, actually, I'll put those in the giveaways. The 2 giveaways. I have 2 tea bags for 2 giveaways. These will also be going in the Parade or Blooming giveaways. Where did I put those bags? I buried them. Okay, I'm just going to put these back here so I don't lose them, and I remember to put those in the bags. So, last thing I have is just little bits and bobs, and I put them all in. This is the one of the Blooming Lovely fabrics from Ginger Snap. Kim brought this over to me on Saturday morning as a gift, which was just so lovely of her to do. This was the basis of the collection that they were doing, and they either came in a pink background or this sagey green background, and it's beautiful. And I just think it goes so well. This was the Blooming Lovely sock pattern. Those little flower motifs are just perfect to go with that floral fabric. I love this pattern. Tooting my own horn, toot toot. I love this pattern. So I just kept this bag to put all the little bits and bobs that kind of popped up over the weekend. So from Ginger Snap, I also grabbed some of the Blooming Lovely stitch stoppers in the pretty pink and the green that go with the bag. I should actually put these on my sleeve of my Saltier that try to keep coming off. I knew I had more. I had just forgotten where they were. I'll put those back there as well. I went to Dragon Strings. Come on. There we go. And got a collection of, actually, sweary stitch markers. They're kind of laser cutouts. So I got 2 sets of these. They'll probably be gifts for friends or go into giveaways or something later. I just wanted to pick those up and support her. And then Big Blue Mama also had in these cute little boxes, they're the leather measuring tape bracelets. And this was another thing that she was clearing out. And so I picked up a few. I picked up 3 of them. This one's going to be mine. You'll see why when I open it. I'd actually forgotten it was in here. Come on. These little boxes are super cute, but sometimes they open when you don't want them to. Here we go. Look at this one. It's a metallic kind of tealy green. So this one is mine. And then I got some more neutral colors for people who aren't as nuts as me. Yeah. Measuring tape bracelet in a fun metallic. The other one I have is just a plain brown. So I picked up 3 of those. 1 for me, 2 for you later. And then I ran into Cynthia and Barb from River City Yarns and the, I always get the name wrong, Podcast On? Yes, it's on the magnets. So it's this little tin with the little magnets, Podcast On. So we had a really nice chat, Barb and Cynthia, and yeah, so River City Yarns. Thank you for coming. Thank you for talking to me, and thank you for the little gifty. These reminded me. I don't know if you can see. If you're of an age, there used to be a lip gloss in these little tins like this. These little slider tins. I can't remember what they were called, but my brain went instantly back to 1982 and buying these little lip gloss tins, and they were like the original fidget toy. So that is everything that is in my little bag from Ginger Snap. My basket is now empty. And that is everything I think to talk about. If you are in New Brunswick, we are having our Knit Outside together on this Sunday, June 4th. At 1 p.m. at McConnell Park in Sussex, New Brunswick. If you want any more details or have any questions, if you're in the area and would like to stop by, send me a message either here or Instagram or email. Everything will be linked below. One thing about the giveaways that I forgot to mention is I completely disappear. Giveaways. Okay, we're back to this. Use word blooming, use word parade, use both if you want to go in for both. I will never message you. I will announce the winners on the next podcast. On podcast 20, I will announce the winners of this giveaway. I will not reach out to you any other way. Please don't give your personal information to anybody online if you don't know who they are. There's still the scams going on out there, and I don't want us to get caught up in that silliness. So I want to gift these lovely things to my friends out there. And so unless you hear your name on the podcast, that's how you'll know if you've won. All right. I'm looking at my notes. I think I've covered everything. will either have been putting Montreal stuff over the top as I was talking, or I will be putting it at the end. I am unsure. Either way, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I hope you're having a great summer or winter, depending where you are in the world. Happy knitting, my friends. Happy sipping, and I'll see you soon.